Good morning. This is Northern Light for Thursday, November 2nd. I'm Monica Sandreski.
And I'm Todd Moe.
Election day is Tuesday in Clinton County. 5 of the 10 seats on the county legislature are up for election. The outcome of one race could change which party has control.
There's a tone that we're going to continue to represent people and, not be divided by party votes.
4 wind farms in Clinton and Franklin counties will be repowered and run for another 20 to 30 years.
That overhaul will enable us to just capture on the most advanced technology that exists in the industry today and make the projects operate more efficiently.
Also, a longtime artist and writer in the Adirondacks has been chosen to work on a global health program that combines using the arts in healthcare and public health. As part of our ongoing series on healthcare, we'll talk with Naj Wyckoff about using what he's learned locally on a global scale. All of that and more is coming up on Northern Light. Stick with us.
Broadcast of Northern Light here on North Country Public Radio is supported by Gray & Gray & Associates, CPAs, an accounting and financial services firm in northern New York with offices in Canton, Potsdam, and Spring Hill, Florida. GrayCPAS.com. And St. Lawrence Health, whose affiliation with Rochester Regional Health means more patient access to specialty care. StLawrenceHealthSystem.org.
This is Northern Light. I'm Monica Sandreski.
And I'm Todd Moe. State police in Watertown are investigating an act of vandalism at a Jewish cemetery. According to the Watertown Daily Times, 3 headstones at Degal Israel Synagogue Cemetery were knocked over recently. Cemetery board member Neil Katzman told the newspaper he thinks it was a hate crime. The Anti-Defamation League says there's been a significant spike in anti-Semitic incidents across the country since the war between Israel and Hamas militants began last month. Katzman said the synagogue now has an armed guard at its services, and the board is looking to install security cameras. The Times reports that the 3 headstones were righted, and state police said there was no damage. The agency's Bureau of Criminal Investigation and Bias Crime Unit are looking into the incident.
In Clinton County, 5 of the 10 seats on the county legislature are up for election this year. Incumbent candidates are running unopposed in 4 of them, but 2 candidates are vying to represent Area 5, which covers Schuyler Falls and parts of the towns of Peru and Plattsburgh. That race could change which party controls the legislature. But incumbents say if that happens, it probably won't have a huge impact on how the legislators work together. Kara Chapman has more.
Kevin Randall is the Republican candidate for Area 5. He's a retired corrections lieutenant and training instructor and a longtime member of the Morrisonville Volunteer Fire Department. He's also the current supervisor for the town of Schuyler Falls.
As a county legislator, it's a bigger opportunity to help serve the residents in Clinton County, specifically in the Area 5 Clinton County District.
His opponent is Rick Hazen, the Democratic candidate. He's also running on the 5 First party line. That's 5 for Area 5. Hazen is a political newcomer who spent his career in the private sector, but he's been involved as a volunteer firefighter and a member of the county's Stop DWI Advisory Board.
It's about us. We, the people, we deserve a fair shake, and we deserve our voices to be heard.
When you ask the 2 men about what they'd focus on if elected, they say a lot of the same things.
How do we entice people to move to or continue to live in Clinton County?
We need to focus on what we can do to grow our area.
Opportunity of good paying jobs.
Creating good jobs and lowering taxes.
Low taxes, naturally.
They also say housing, infrastructure, and working closely with town supervisors are all important. But even though the candidates have similar priorities, the outcome of their race could switch which party controls the county legislature. Right now, it's split evenly between Republicans and Democrats, with a Republican chair. Area 5 is currently represented by a Republican. If Randall wins, it'll maintain the status quo. If Hazen wins, Democrats would win back control for the first time in 4 years. But some incumbents say that wouldn't really change things all that much.
we don't just talk about bipartisanship. I think we deliver it, and I think it's noticeable.
That's Mark Henry. He's a Republican who's been on the legislature for almost 6 years and chaired it since 2020. He's running for re-election unopposed this year. Henry says the parties have had some disagreements in the past. For example, they differed over how to fill a vacant position on the legislature a few years ago. But he says things never got contentious, and overall, they don't really spend a lot of time on partisan issues.
We get along very well when it comes to looking out for the best interest of the folks of Clinton County. That's our overarching issue.
Patty Waldron agrees. She's a Democrat who's been on the legislature for 10 years. Waldron says there's always an adjustment period when a new ruling party takes over. There's a new chair who hands out new committee assignments to the legislators. But she says after the first few months, everybody kind of comes back to a non-party position. She credits that to legislative elders who set the tone for how things are done.
There's a tone that we're going to continue to represent people and, not be divided by party votes.
Waldron says the county hasn't seen the same type of partisan divides playing out at the state or federal levels, and she hopes it stays that way.
I can't imagine getting so lost in the weeds that you forget about the people. I mean, I guess I couldn't bear sleeping with myself at the end of the day when there's actual lives at stake.
For Kevin Randall, the Republican candidate for Area 5, those types of divides are why he hopes he gets elected and the legislature stays split between the two parties. He says he thinks it's healthy to have a good debate and discussion with all parties involved, not just one.
You need to have voices of all of your residents represented, and so that you can absolutely make the best decisions and policies to help the majority of all people that you represent.
Rick Hazen, the Democrat, says his race's impact on the legislature isn't as big of a factor for him as it is for other people.
My thought is, look, Democrat, Republican, Independent, whoever, we're there for one cause. That's to make things right.
The other three legislators running unopposed for re-election are Calvin Castine for Area 1, Rob Timmons for Area 7, and Joshua Kretzer for Area 9. Kara Chapman, North Country Public Radio.
You're listening to Northern Light here on North Country Public Radio. It's 8 minutes past 8. Good morning. I'm Todd Moe.
And I'm Monica Sandreski. Just ahead, a Fulbright scholar in the Adirondacks will use his experience with the arts and healing on a global scale. That conversation in just a few minutes here on Northern Light.
Music by the group Bee Children out of Canton. Broadcast of Northern Light is supported by AdirondackExplorer.com and AdirondackAlmanac.com, presenting daily updated news on public policy, environmental issues, and local communities in the Adirondack Park. And by Cronin's Golf Resort, a regional destination for golf, dining, and lodging in the southern Adirondacks. Details at Cronin'sGolfResort.com. Partly cloudy skies today, highs upper 30s, mid 40s, and light winds out of the west. Tomorrow, highs in the low 50s.
Jury selection for the trial of a Hebron man accused of shooting and killing a Schuylerville woman will take place in the new year. 65-year-old Kevin Monahan allegedly shot 20-year-old Kaylin Gillis as the car she was in was leaving his driveway in mid-April. She died of her injuries. Monahan faces charges of second-degree murder, reckless endangerment, and tampering with physical evidence. According to the Glens Falls Post-Star, his trial was supposed to start earlier this week. It was postponed to give the defense more more time to look at the evidence. The Post-Star reports that jury selection is slated to begin Monday, January 8th.
Applications for New York's Tuition Assistance Program are now open for next school year. The program, known as TAP, is available for full and part-time students at approved colleges in the state. The program awards grants which do not have to be paid back. Students who apply for TAP will still need to complete the free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA. That's expected to be available in December. We have more information on our website at ncpr.org.
If you've spent much time on Route 11 between Malone and Plattsburgh, you've seen dozens, maybe hundreds of wind turbines. There are 4 wind farms in the area. Recently, all 4 were repowered by NYSERDA, the State Energy and Research Development Authority. That means they're getting a facelift and will continue to operate for at least another 20 years. Amy Feiereisel reports.
Last week, New York announced the largest state investment in renewable energy in U.S. history. NYSERDA awarded 25 renewable energy project contracts to wind and solar farms. Once completed, those projects will provide about 12% of New York's electricity needs. 4 of those projects are wind farms in Clinton and Franklin counties, in the towns of Altona, Chateauguay, Clinton, and Ellenburg. And they already exist, but they're getting old.
The wind industry is starting to get more mature, so there's plenty of projects out there that are reaching the end of their useful life.
That's Emily Taylor. She's overseeing the development of the North Country wind farms for AES Clean Energy, which is the largest owner-operator of renewable energy projects in New York.
The projects that we have in the North Country all came online at about 2008, 2009 time span, so they're approaching a 20-year life.
And that means the wind turbines need replacing soon. The new contracts guarantee that New York will buy the energy from these wind farms. AES pays for the upgrade.
That overhaul will enable us to just capture on the most advanced technology that exists in the industry today and make the projects operate more efficiently.
Actual construction will start in 2026. The new turbines will be good for another 20 to 30 years.
We can continue the project operations, keeping people employed, keeping the economic benefits through the tax revenue, landowner payments for well into the future for, generations to come.
Taylor says the new contracts mean wind farms are here to stay in the North Country. But the building and operating of these wind farms has been a topic of great debate and contention over the years, especially in the communities where they've been built. I asked Taylor what she would say to folks who would like to see the wind farms gone.
I think no matter where folks fall on the spectrum of either support or opposition to wind, these projects have existed for 15 years and have made significant economic contributions to the community.
She also reiterated that no new wind projects are being built. Parts are just being replaced.
And the fact that we're repowering and staying within the same project boundaries that the project already exists today, it's very little new impacts that folks aren't already used to seeing.
NYSERDA says that the new energy contracts, which the North Country wind projects are a part of, will put the state on track towards its 2030 goal for 70% of New York's electricity to come from renewable sources. Amy Feiereisel, North Country Public Radio.
You're listening to Northern Light here on North Country Public Radio. I'm Todd Moe.
And I'm Monica Sandreski. Coming up, a North Country expert on the arts and healthcare has been named a Fulbright specialist and will work with healthcare centers around the world. We'll hear more of his story coming up in just a minute. Then stick around after the show for Bird Note. Just ahead at 8:42, the greater roadrunner is a common species in the desert and brush country of the Southwest, but its full range reaches from California to western Louisiana. We'll hear more on this bird coming up at 8:42. But first, Todd has a look at the weather for us.
Partly cloudy skies, highs today upper 30s, mid 40s, light winds out of the west, milder tomorrow, highs and Saturday. Highs in the low 50s, partly cloudy Friday. Some scattered rain possible through the weekend with highs in the upper 40s, mid 50s, Saturday, Sunday, and into early next week. Right now in Canton, we got some snow showers, 30 degrees.
A longtime artist and writer in the Adirondacks has been chosen to work on an international initiative that uses the arts in healthcare and public health. Naj Wyckoff grew up in Lake Placid and lives in Keene Valley. He's a Lake Placid news columnist and was recently tapped to be a Fulbright specialist for the next few years in their global health program. He was chosen by a panel of international leaders in medical care and public health.
In the North Country, Naj was a co-founder of Creative Healing Connections, which hosts retreats for women living with cancer and other chronic diseases and women veterans. He also has long worked with local schools, engaging youngsters in creating murals, such as the recent one for the Lake Placid Volunteer Ambulance Service. I caught up by phone with Naj Wyckoff, who told me that as a Fulbright specialist, he'll help agencies in 150 countries to use the arts to address global health issues.
A lot of people are not aware that I've had a lot of work in healthcare using the arts to support health and well-being really since the mid-'80s. In New York, at the Cathedral St. John the Divine, using the arts with people living with AIDS, before living with AIDS was even an expression. Mm-hmm. And then spent 12 years running a medical humanities, arts and humanities program at the Dartmouth Med School under the C. Everett Koop Institute. I was working for the former Surgeon General. And I can continue to be very involved in arts and health ever since. And I do a lot of consulting with hospitals in terms of using the arts to enhance the physical environment and things like that. But a couple of years ago, the World Health Organization came out with a major study that underscored the huge value of the arts in public health and well-being. And what was unusual is the World Health Organization does a lot of studies, but they don't always establish an office to then promote the outcome, and they did for this one, because it demonstrated to them what a profound difference the arts can make and how affordable they are. And this is in medical education, in clinical care, in public health. And so, for instance, we're having growing concerns about mental health. We're having growing concerns about issues of addiction and suicide prevention. We're having growing challenges of youth at risk. We're having growing challenges of getting people to take their vaccines, as an example, or all manner of different things. And the arts have been proved to be a very effective way of communicating. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, if I'm working in a hospital and I'm come to see a patient, I'm not there to stick a needle in anybody's arm or to take them off to surgery or anything like that. And I have more time. So a doctor or nurse doesn't have a lot of time with the patient, but the artist does. And this could be an artist in any different types of media. And all of a sudden, they're there. Artists are observers. And so they're very curious, because that's they're all about fostering storytelling one way or another, so different media. So they listen, and the patients feel heard, feel seen, feel treated as a person, not as a disease. And that's powerful. Plus, I might come and say, would you like some music? Or would you like to create something or whatever? And it makes a profound difference in people's experience, because all of a sudden they're, again, being treated as a person, not as a disease. They're feeling heard. They're giving opportunities to express their emotions. Now, artists working in those situations have to be trained. For instance, not just some of the things you might put in a gallery don't work in a hospital setting. But it's like when I go, so shall we say, I say, would you like to hear some music? They have the opportunity to say no, and then I back off. I don't try to force that on them. If they're not ready, they're not ready. That's okay. Mm-hmm. But if they are, then I give them choice. And that's really, it's a powerful thing.
I'm assuming that, you're such a great example of the fact that art really does work in so many different areas beyond the aesthetics.
Sure. So like with connecting youth and community, then town supervisor Randy Preston wanted a mural on their youth center, and they were having a lot of problem with youth. They were having a bit of vandalism and stuff like that. So I went there, and of course the kids, they weren't. I don't know how to paint that. They weren't too keen. But I said, well, if you had a mural, what would you want on it? And of course they looked at me like I was stupid. I said, well, skateboards, of course, and helmets and all this. So the long and the short of it is, I sort of conned them into it and got them to come up with a design. And then I blew up their design onto the wall, and then I got them to paint it. And what Randy said afterwards is, I don't know about the arts. All I can tell you is vandalism has been reduced in my town. And it's because I gave the kids something other than sports, that they could express themselves. They could express themselves creatively, and all of a sudden they got covered by North Country Public Radio. They were seen on television, and all of a sudden they're starting to feel like they matter. And they went on to do a couple of murals for Whiteface Ski Center. And so that's terrific, because all of a sudden, and that's a way of the arts to support in the process of healing, improving mental health, making kids feel better about themselves, that they matter, that they're not ignored, they have a voice. So, the art, creative healing connections, using the arts with the military. Our success in developing programs initially for women in the military led to the creation of a national initiative for arts and health in the military. It's become a huge thing. And because the arts can help people living with PTSD, military sexual trauma, traumatic brain injury, it can help families connect. Like the person who's been off to war comes back, they're changed. And they don't often realize that their children, their spouse, have also been changed. And the arts can help them, for instance, have them all each make masks and then talk about their masks. Or people might not be willing to talk to you directly. They will describe the mask, and all of a sudden they get insights to how their children have been impacted by their service or their spouse, and vice versa. The spouse and children can see how their loved one got impacted by their service, and it's powerful.
And again, as you said, it makes the patient feel like a person, like a human.
And also the arts can do it the reverse way, too, so that patients see the doctors and nurses as people and not as somebody just wearing a uniform. It's a two-way street, because healing comes when we're both working together for a common goal. If you go to the hospital and just expect them to fix you like you're some car, well, be expected to be treated like that. Mm-hmm. You want to get to know them as people, and they just see you as a person. And the arts can help facilitate. They help humanize us. They help us tell our stories, and everybody has stories to tell.
Nat Wyckoff lives in Keene Valley, currently works with such hospitals as Brigham and Women's in Boston, Montreal Children's, and the South Peninsula Hospital in Homer, Alaska. He says one of his first assignments as a Fulbright specialist will be working with healthcare workers in Switzerland to make medical spaces more relaxing.
Time coming up now on 8:25. You're listening to Northern Light right here on North Country Public Radio. Good morning. I'm Monica Sandreski here with Todd Moe, and we want to let you know about a few of the events going on throughout the region in the next few weeks. Tonight, it's Poetry on Broadway at the Adirondack Center for Writing. They'll have performances by award-winning poets John Sands, Roya Marsh, and Jose Olivares at the Adirondack Center for Writing in Saranac Lake. There will be books for sale and a book signing following the performances. It's a free event. You can check out these award-winning poets tonight between 7 and 8 o'clock at the Adirondack Center for Writing in Saranac Lake, and find out more at adirondackcenterforwriting.org.
Also, the Adirondack Lake Center for the Arts is bringing back its virtual program for the 2023-2024 lineup of Back in Blue, the online series. Starting this month, continuing through February, there'll be video recordings of performances from the Arts Center's this year's season, and they'll be available to view on the ALCE's YouTube channel. Some of the highlights will include rock and classical concerts, folk music from the Tuesdays at the AC series, and the abridged Shakespeare production of The Tempest. And The Cure, an Adirondack story by North Country playwright Frederick Glover, scheduled to be part of the 2024 Adirondack Lakes Theatre Festival.
And tomorrow night at Mountain Lake PBS, they are hosting an action-packed audience participation event. You are invited to a night at the races. Whether you're a novice or a horse racing aficionado, you'll be rooting for your favorite horse from the start of the race until the finish line. They're going to be showing some older races up on the big screen and placing bets. You can find out more from Mountain Lake PBS. Again, that is tomorrow evening. Doors open at 5. The first race is at 6:30, and it'll be at the VFW Post 125 on Boynton Avenue. Find out more from Mountain Lake PBS. Also coming up this Sunday, we're going to go out on a little bit of music from the group performing at the Atomic Rooster in Ottawa, the group Wicked Grin. They've won Canada's National Maple Blues Award and have gotten rave reviews for their harmonica playing and their rhythm. This is their song, Take Me Down.
Oh, Lord, take me down. I'm gonna live my life this way. Oh Lord, take me down. Women and whiskey gonna make me pay. Oh Lord, take me down. I'm gonna live my life this way. Oh Lord, take me down. Women and whiskey gonna make me pay. I don't walk the line. Sun it shines, take a little walk, girl, we'll be fine. Oh yeah, here I come. Sunrise gonna be at my back. Take a little whiskey, take a little gin, then we move on down the track. I can't hold it down, good or bad, that's where I'm found. Oh no, here I go. Someone bought another round. Take a little lightning, take a little bill. I can see my baby still begging me not to start. I see it smiling in the dark. You can come, you can hold. I'll be heading down the road. Peace and whiskey's all I know. Waiting now to sell my soul. Oh yeah, here I come. Sunrise gonna be my last. We gonna laugh, we gonna moan. I got a ride, ain't coming back. Take me down, I'm gonna live my life this way. Oh Lord, take me down. Women and whiskey gonna make me pay. I don't walk the line, I'm gonna take my time. Asphalt rolls, sun it shines. Take a little walk, girl, we'll be fine. Oh yeah, here I come. Sunrise gonna be at my back. Take a little whiskey, take a little gin, then we'll move on down the track.
That's the group Wicked Grin and their song Take Me Down. They're performing at the Atomic Rooster this Sunday starting at 6 o'clock. You can find out more from the Atomic Rooster's Facebook page. That's their song Take Me Down. That is it for the show for the day. If you do enjoy some bluegrass and some blues, don't forget to tune in to String Fever this afternoon with Barb Heller. It's the best acoustic and bluegrass music in the North Country, a dance set, and the latest bluegrass releases. That's String Fever every Thursday afternoon from 3 until 5 o'clock right here on North Country Public Radio. That is it for the show for the day. I'm Monica Sandreski.
I'll be headed down the road.
And I'm Todd Moe. Be well.
Oh yeah, here I come. Sunrise gonna be